Real places on Earth that seem scientifically impossible. Shanaitan-Pishka, the boiling river. Deep in the Amazon lies a river 4 miles long and unlike any other on Earth. The Shanaitan-Pishka is so hot that any animal that steps into it gets boiled alive. When a hapless creature wanders in, the eyes cook first, melting in its skull. Soon the animal is in too much pain to keep swimming to safety. Water fills its mouth and lungs, and it is cooked from the inside out. The river gets as hot as 91°C, 196°F, and scientists aren't completely sure why. Normally, water that gets this hot is fed by a volcano, but this one is 700 kilometers removed from the nearest one. There is a theory, though. Scientists believe that boiling hot water from under the earth cracks through fault lines and heats up the river, making the water a geothermal system unlike any other on the Earth. Lake Kara-Kay. The most radioactive lake on Earth. Inside of what was once a Soviet Union nuclear weapon factory is a lake pumped full of more radioactive material than anything else on Earth. Lake Kara-Kay is so radioactive that you would only have to stand near it for an hour for it to kill you. The lake was used by the Soviet Union to dump nuclear waste. They poured obscene amounts into it, and it caused major problems. In 1957, an explosion in the factory spread the radioactive particles in the lake around a 23,330 kilometers, 9,000 square miles, area. Then in 1967, the waters dried up and the radioactive dust was blown a further 1,450 kilometers, 900 miles away. Today, the water is mostly covered up with concrete to keep these disasters from happening. The area is still so toxic, though, that it makes Chernobyl look like a family-friendly tourist destination. Devil's Kettle Falls. The origin of most waterfalls is known, as well as where they end, but the Devil's Kettle Falls in Minnesota seems to defy that rule. It's another one of the weird places that science can't explain. It has been established that the water originates from the Brule River and then splits into two. One of the splits runs into Lake Superior, while the other just mysteriously disappears into a hole. Scientists love these kinds of stuff, and, of course, they came to solve the mystery. After pouring in dye and other materials and waiting in vain for it to come out somewhere around, they gave up trying to solve the mystery and instead vaguely claimed the channel connects to a part of Lake Superior. Well, until the outlet where this channel connects to Lake Superior is pinpointed, it remains a miracle. The petrifying well. Where water turns things to stone. In Knaresborough in North Yorkshire is a well that seems like something ripped out of a story by H.P. Lovecraft. It's a place where water trickles down a cliffside that looks like a skeleton's grinning face and where anything you place under the water will turn to stone. The process usually takes 3 to 5 months, but you can leave anything you own under the trickling water and, when you return, it will be stone. People have left everything from teddy bears to bicycles there, and everyone has been transformed into a statue. For a long time, people believed that the well was cursed by a witch. Scientists today, though, have found that the water just has an unusually high mineral content. As a result, it creates a hard mineral shell over anything it touches, just like how stalactites are formed in caves. The Bermuda Triangle. There are tons of strange facts about the Bermuda Triangle. It is perhaps the most mysterious place on Earth that science has not been able to explain fully. Also known as the Devil's Triangle, this massive area in the North Atlantic Ocean is where numerous ships and planes with passengers have disappeared mysteriously without a trace. The triangle is bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Barbados, and several explanations have been offered regarding its bizarreness, which makes it more terrifying and mysterious. Some say the triangle is an alien abduction hotspot, while others claim the disappearances are caused by some giant sea monsters or by an unseen third dimension that sucks up aircraft flying over or ships cruising past. Maybe there is indeed an invisible gate here that opens up occasionally to suck things into another world. Who knows? Indeed, the Bermuda Triangle is one of the strangest places on Earth that science can't explain. Gruner See. The park that goes underwater every spring. In Austria, there's a park with beautiful hiking trails and benches you can jog through any autumn morning. If you visit in the spring, though, it's a little different. In fact, you'll need scuba gear. The park is near the Hochschwab Mountains, which get completely covered with snow in the winter. There's so much snow on the mountains that, when it melts, the park's lake doubles in size and drowns the park. If you swim through it in the spring, you'll see benches and bridges under the water. Even some of the alpine flowers, which normally only survive above the surface, will bloom under the water. Then, partway through the summer, the water starts to recede and the park emerges from underneath. The Beacon of Maracaibo. The never-ending lighting storm. In western Venezuela over the Catatumbo River, there is a storm that never ceases. Starting at 7 p.m. every night, lightning crashes over the water for 10 hours every night, 260 nights each year. Nobody knows for sure why it happens. Up until recently, the leading theory was that it had something to do with uranium in the bedrock, although scientists are starting to doubt it. Today, the leading theory is a complicated one. It posits that the shape of the mountains causes warm trade winds to collide with cold air from the Andes. That collision is then fueled by the rapidly evaporating water below and methane from a nearby oil field. Nobody actually knows for sure, though, why it happens. Everything about it is mysterious, including one moment, in 2010, when it inexplicably stopped. One day, the storm just died down without explanation, and seemed, for a while, to be over. Then, after 6 weeks of silence, it sparked up again and has been raging ever since. The Galapagos Islands. Islands exist all over the world, but there's something unique about the Galapagos Islands, and that's its wildlife. The fact that life exists here is a miracle that scientists have tried to dilute with explanations. When the islands first formed millions of years ago, there were no living things on them. But today, plants, several reptiles, amphibians, birds, and marine mammals inhabit the islands and its waters. No one's sure how these animals arrived here. The islands were not discovered until 1535, although no one knows if ancient humans had been there earlier. Scientists claim the species that inhabit the islands today were transported either by sea or by air from other places. But the South or Central American mainlands where the species would have originated from are more than 1,000 miles away. And besides the mystery of how they got there, how they adapted to the environment is another miracle to talk about another day. Double tree. No tree grows on top of another tree, right? Well, wait to visit Casorzo, Italy, where a tree can be seen clearly growing on top of another. On the ground is a mulberry tree, while on top of it is a cherry tree growing perfectly well. While plants or trees can grow on another tree, they usually only do so for a short time. This tree has been growing for quite some time, which has led many to believe it probably has an established root in the ground to grow that long and large. No one knows for sure how the cherry tree began growing. The best explanation people have brought forth is that a bird must have dropped a cherry seed on the trunk of the mulberry. It's definitely one of the world's unexplained phenomena. The ringing rocks of Pennsylvania. Scientists have tried all they can to explain why rocks ring in a place in northern Pennsylvania, but they've not been able to come up with anything tangible. The rocks are very large, and when struck, they produce bell-like sounds that just seems like real bells. People now come with hammers while visiting to strike these rocks and make music. Even if scientists do come up with an explanation for this strange phenomenon, it will not ruin the excitement at all. Kyaiktiyo Pagoda. Kyaiktiyo Pagoda in Myanmar is one of the places around the world where gravity does not seem to work. The rock, which can be seen hanging precariously, has remained in that position for more than 1,000 years. According to the legend, this massive rock is held in position by a strand of Buddha's hair, and the site is now also used as a place of worship. Movil Cave. Nature always finds a way. One place that gives more meaning to this claim is Movil Cave. This cave near Mangalia in Romania has been separated from the outside world for about 5.5 million years, and that has given rise to a unique ecosystem that's different from the rest of the world. Unique species that cannot be found anywhere else on the planet are in this cave, and they have adapted to survive in the environment, which will be almost unlivable for most species in the outer atmosphere. Kawah Ijen. The volcano with blue lava. In Indonesia, there is a sulfur mine built into a volcano, and when the workers enter it at night they turn off their lights. They don't need them, because their way is lit by the strange, glowing blue liquid trickling down the side like lava. Kawah Ijen is often described as a volcano with blue lava, although scientists now know the blue trickle isn't really lava, it's sulfur. Sulfuric gases inside heat up and burst out of it, shooting blue flames up to 5 meters into the air. The gases then condense into liquid sulfur, which spills down the mountain slopes, looking like flowing neon blue lava. All the sulfur in the air makes it toxic, and researchers and photographers who visit it have to wear gas masks to stay safe. The workers in the mine, though, do not and suffer through the unbreathable air while they work in the light of a pale blue glow that's slowly killing them and is unlike any in the world.